Good morning, world, and all who inhabit it. It's a new year. New me, baby. This year, I'm definitely entering my bitchy era. I'm gonna be mean and rude and nasty just because why not? Not nasty for no reason. I'm just gonna start standing up for myself, and I'm not gonna care if people perceive me as mean because whatever. Sometimes people just think you're mean and you're not really being mean. You're just telling the truth. But with that, I also think the truth can bring positivity as well. And a big part of that is, I just feel like for too long, what blows up and what's popular in the algorithm is just ripping media apart. Just talking about how this movie sucked. This TV show sucked. This album sucked. That's what pulls in the views. It's not when Anthony Fantano gives a strong 7. That's not what blows up. What blows up is when he gives a 1 or a 2. People love negativity. We're here to bring back the positivity. Let's talk about the things we like and why we like them and why they're good. And with that, let's talk about Marty Supreme. So just because you don't like something doesn't mean that it's bad. I get it. Maybe the Stranger Things finale, there were some episodes of the last season that I wasn't that into. I get it. But the finale was beautiful. It was heart-wrenching. I sobbed. I cried. And I felt a lot of feelings that I hadn't felt in a long time. I'm sorry that you didn't feel that way. I'm sorry that you had questions about, well, how did she graduate when she was in a coma for 2 years? Who cares? Who cares? They fought an intergalactic space monster. And your concern is, how did she graduate high school? Who cares? It's a heartwarming coming-of-age story about a group of ragtag nerds and, people that you wouldn't expect to come together, coming together, putting their differences aside, and just loving each other and loving their town and helping each other, okay? And all you can focus on is stupid, dumb. I'm sorry that you're boring and you can't enjoy fun things. Anyways, just because you didn't like it doesn't mean it was bad. It was good to some people, and some people being me. It was good to me. And so was Marty Supreme. I understand a lot of people didn't like it. And there's a difference between Marty Supreme and Stranger Things, okay? Stranger Things is more feel-good, fun, sci-fi, fun for the whole family. Kind of-ish. Marty Supreme, not so much. Marty Supreme is divisive. And you know what? It's important for art to be divisive. Stranger Things, not as divisive, okay? Marty Supreme, divisive. And I'll explain why. But good art should be divisive. Good art should make you think. Good art should not coddle you. Good art should not make you feel good, okay? Good art makes you feel uncomfortable. Good art makes you question things. Good art makes you feel things deeply. And a lot of the criticism I see for Marty Supreme is because you felt uncomfortable watching it. Maybe that was the point. Let's get into the backstory. 2024, Charlie XCX drops the song 360. In the lyrics, she says, "I'm everywhere. I'm so Julia." Who's Julia? Julia Fox. Julia Fox is in the 360 music video alongside a bunch of other icons. Julia Fox was also in
when he wrote Uncut
Gems.
Right.
As we all know, she was in Uncut Gems.
Right.
Uncut Gems is co-directed by Josh Safdie alongside his brother. Josh Safdie goes on to co-create the movie Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme, orange. Marty Supreme, orange is the new Brat Green. Marty Supreme, winter orange. Brat, summer green. It all comes full circle, okay? If you didn't see Uncut Gems, first of all, I'm sorry, you missed out. But also, a lot of people didn't see Uncut Gems. It wasn't that popular of a movie. I saw Uncut Gems. And I loved it. The cast of Uncut Gems. Now, this is what really drew me in, personally. And I'm sure it's what drew everybody in, if we're being honest. I don't think the marketing was really there for Uncut Gems, but we'll get into that. The cast includes Adam Sandler, Julia Fox, Lakeith Stanfield, Idina Menzel, the original Elphaba, Kevin Garnett, basketball player, The Weeknd. Yeah, The Weeknd is in Uncut Gems. If you haven't seen it, The Weeknd is in Uncut Gems. He's great. Not really, but he's in it. The big teeth are to Howard Ratner what the unibrow is to Marty Mauser. These are movie makeup magic that transforms Adam Sandler and similarly transforms Timothée Chalamet. Something about the big teeth, something about the unibrow. It's distracting, but in the best way. It makes you feel like Yes, I'm watching Adam Sandler with big teeth. Yes, I'm watching Timothée Chalamet with a unibrow. But there's something really special about that. I wanted to see that. I didn't know that I wanted to see it, but turns out I did. So, Uncut Gems, for those who haven't seen it, is a movie about a gambling addict who's also a gem dealer. He's a jeweler. He makes the worst decisions possible, and it's 2 hours and 15 minutes of absolute torture. But it's also 2 hours and 15 minutes of fun if you're into that kind of thing. If you are into being uncomfortable, it's great. I went into the movie not knowing what I was signing up for. And about halfway through, I was upset. I felt disturbed. I felt like this character is just so unlikable and bad to his family and a bad person. But once the movie was over, I got it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. This is a bad person, and that's the point of the movie, is that he's a bad person. Adam Sandler did such a good job with this role. This movie went on to win a couple of awards. Specifically, they won the Independent Spirit Awards for Best Director and Best Editing, and Adam Sandler won for Best Male Lead. And he absolutely deserved it. He actually, in my opinion, should have won an Oscar that year for Best Actor. I don't know who won that year. Who cares? Adam Sandler should have won for Uncut Gems. Adam Sandler does an amazing job. He makes you hate him, but also you're rooting for him at the same time. If you've seen Marty Supreme, you know where I'm going with this. The other thing that made me want to see the movie is I have seen Punch Drunk Love, and I really enjoyed it. I like when Adam Sandler does something different. I like when he does something more dramatic, more serious, a little more indie vibes, okay? I don't know if these movies were indie movies. I don't think they were, but I like when he does more artsy stuff. He does a lot of dumb comedies, which I'm not that into. So I really love when he does more serious roles. And that was a big reason why me and my mom decided to go watch Uncut Gems. We were very intrigued. What is Adam Sandler going to do this time? This lighting is like sending me into oblivion. Hold on. Okay, that should be better. Actually, a lot better. Oh my gosh. I would say the marketing for Uncut Gems wasn't really there. I think I saw the trailer a handful of times. If it wasn't for me and my mom being interested, like no one I know was talking about it. I didn't see it all over late night and all that stuff. It was definitely not anywhere near the marketing level of Marty Supreme. Let's talk about the marketing. A lot of people don't like the marketing for Marty Supreme. A lot of people were annoyed. Maybe it was a little too much. Maybe there was too much Marty Supreme. A lot of people didn't enjoy seeing Timothée Chalamet acting the way he's been acting, okay? But I'm going to argue something that I think a lot of people are missing. Timothée Chalamet has always been this way.
Yee, yee, skirt, yee, yee, skirt, skirt, skirt. Statistic, yep, statistic, yep, yep, statistic, yep, statistic.
This isn't new. Lil Timmy, he's been around for a long time. We've seen the videos.
See me in the hallway, you know I hear my Dougie.
I think a lot of people became enamored with his French persona. He speaks French. Did you know he speaks French? Did you know he used to travel to France as a child? Did you know? Did you know that his family is French? Something about the French thing just really convinced people that he was educated, classy, sophisticated. Not that he isn't all of those things. I'm sure he is in his own way, but he is also,
It's your boy Lil Timmy Tim, aka 2 Inches Proud.
you know, just because someone is French and can speak French doesn't mean that they're the pinnacle of sophistication. A lot of people speak French and are French. That doesn't mean anything. Ludwig speaks French. Ludwig's family's from France. Ludwig visits France all the time. Now that's a court jester if I've ever seen one. And so now you're upset because Timothée Chalamet is also acting like a court jester. If anything, these two individuals are proving that being part French is more points towards being a court jester than anything else. Maybe they just make good court jesters in France. I don't know. But what I will say is a lot of people are upset. And I think it's because you created a vision of Timothée Chalamet in your head that wasn't real, because this is real. This is Timothy also. People are complicated. People have layers. Like ogres. We have layers. We're not just one thing. We can be French and whatever this is. We can be both. We're people. Complex. I think that the marketing was a reflection of the movie as a whole. The Wheaties box. Here he is on the Wheaties box. Sold out. This Wheaties box. In the movie, it's Marty's dream to be on a Wheaties box. Now we see Timothée Chalamet on a Wheaties box. Maybe the arrogance and the persona that Timothy has been exhibiting over this press tour is a reflection of the character in the movie. I think sometimes a character can impact you as an actor. Sometimes you carry that with you. And I think that's part of it. But I think another part of it is Timothy's really embracing what the movie's about and showcasing it through his press tours. As we'll talk about in a bit, Marty is really unlikable and he'll do anything to achieve his dream. And in that sense, maybe Timothy is also, my hair is also blowing like crazy. Hold on. In that sense, I think Timothy is also just chasing his dream of being one of the greats, of being famous, of being a superstar. A lot of us dream of superstardom, but not all of us can achieve that. Timothy's already there. He's been there for a while. Sorry that he wants to do his victory lap. Sorry that he wants to enjoy himself. Sorry that he's just some dorky millennial Gen Z cusp kid who's enjoying himself. Not a kid, a man. We're the same age. He's old. Let him enjoy himself. The orange is iconic. I don't really like the color orange, but in this press tour, in this movie, I enjoy the color orange. I'm really enjoying Marty Supreme Orange. I think it's fun. I think this is iconic. I'm not a Kardashian girly, but Kylie is something about this photo. They're just two young folks in love, rich and famous and in love. Would you not enjoy yourself as well? Would you not also don some matching orange attire with a freaking ping pong paddle bag strapped to you and show up on that carpet and live your best life? You would. Don't act like you wouldn't, because you would. A big part of the marketing was also the even more iconic cast. Even more iconic than Uncut Gems, I would say. I guess they're comparable. They're both very iconic. But this cast, wow. We have Timothy Chalamet, of course. Tyler Okonma, I think I'm saying his name right. Otherwise known as Tyler, the Creator. Yes. Playing his good friend Wally in the movie. Gwyneth Paltrow plays Kevin O'Leary's wife. Yes, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank.
Pigs get slaughtered.
Are you kidding me? I love Shark Tank. Kevin O'Leary's wife is played by Gwyneth Paltrow, and spoiler, little spoiler, Timothy Chalamet and Gwyneth Paltrow do the deed. Kevin O'Leary gets cheated on by Gwyneth Paltrow with Timothy Chalamet. Hello, you're missing out. What a fun movie. Are you kidding? I didn't know that I wanted to see it, but guess what? I wanted to see it. We also have Fran Drescher playing his mom, and Odessa Azion, I think I'm saying her name right, playing his other sort of love interest. It's a complicated movie, and I don't want to spoil it. Let's talk about The American Dream. This movie, in a lot of ways, is a think piece about the American dream. Marty in this movie has unbridled confidence that everything's going to work out the way he wants it to. He dreams of being the world champion ping pong player, which at the time this movie takes place, the 50s, is like not a thing, and everyone thinks he's a joke and that he needs to get a real job and focus. And he does not want to do that. He wants to be the world champion ping pong player. Marty sacrifices a lot, and not a lot of his own wants and desires. He sacrifices the wants and desires of those around him. He's extremely selfish, a narcissist. He puts a lot of people that he loves, and he uses the word love loosely. He puts a lot of people that he loves in danger, in harm's way. He hurts the people that he cares about, or the people that care about him, a lot. Pretty much the whole movie. Pretty much that's all he does is hurt people. But it's all at the expense of his dream. He wants to be on a Wheaties box. He wants to be the best. He's more focused on monetary success rather than a different definition of success. So a lot of people say there's many different definitions of success. I would argue that success is living a fulfilled life that's fun and happy and having a lot of fulfilling relationships. Marty would probably not argue that. Marty and I probably don't agree, okay? Not probably. I can guarantee me and Marty don't agree. Marty's success hinges on, one, being the best at a sport. I mean, he's breathing real hard in the movie. You can't tell me it's not a sport. But he also defines his success on monetary value. So he's often saying that he's going to pay people back when he makes it. He's going to have so much money that he's bragging about money that he plans on making. Not the money he currently has. He doesn't have it. But money that he believes he will have, that he is manifesting. I didn't even think about that, but this movie's also kind of a criticism on the manifestation type of people, the people that try to will everything to their way, but then somehow end up scamming people. They're out there, okay? If your manifestation of wealth includes charging $700 courses to teach people how to manifest their wealth. I have a sneaking suspicion that that is not manifestation, but conning people. And Marty similarly believes in manifesting. He believes in chasing this dream, but it's always at the expense of others. He will con whoever he needs to. He will hurt whoever he needs to get to where he wants to go. Similar to Uncut Gems, he's unlikable. I get that that's why a lot of people do not like this movie. I imagine that those same people probably wouldn't like Uncut Gems either. Maybe it's an easier pill to swallow with Uncut Gems because it's coming from Adam Sandler, who is a more lovable guy. Timothy Chalamet, because the marketing has been so, centered on him being, forgive me, a douchebag. When you see him on screen for over 2 hours playing a douchebag, it's a hard pill to swallow, okay? It's a lot. But that's the point of the movie. Just like Uncut Gems, Marty is shooting himself in the foot constantly. Every time he has a way out of his bad situation, he chooses the wrong thing. He does something stupid. He does something aggravating, but it's because he is so driven by this dream that he has. He keeps making bad choices. He doesn't want to settle for what we as the audience know to be the right thing to do or the smart decision. He doesn't want to settle. He wants his dream and he will not compromise on that at all. He won't compromise. Spoiler time. I'll put timestamp of where to jump if you don't want spoilers. But if you've seen the movie, there's points in the movie where he almost makes it out with his mistress's necklace, and instead of just running away with the necklace, he decides he wants to sleep with her again. So in the middle of this park, where obviously they could get caught, he decides to engage in sexual activity with her. Then he gets caught, loses the necklace, blah, blah, blah. But this is just an example of how he puts his wants and desires, even if they're momentary, even if they're ego-driven or driven by hormones and emotion, he prioritizes that over the safety of himself and the people around him. This leads him to a scene where he has to get paddled in the butt by Kevin O'Leary. You guys, why don't you like this movie? Are you kidding? Timothy Chalamet could have used a butt double and he decided no, he doesn't want someone else's butt to be immortalized. He wants his butt to be paddled by Kevin O'Leary. I get it. Not that that's something I want, but I understand where he's coming from. Early in the movie, he gets second place at the World Championships. So the rest of the movie is him trying to get to the World Championships again so he can have another shot at being the best. Because of all of his stupid decisions, he's unable to do that. But he does get a rematch with the world champion. He gets it at his own expense. At this point, he's endangered everyone. Everyone's in harm's way. The woman carrying his child is in the hospital and he didn't know if she made it or not. We as the audience don't know if she made it or not, but he finally gets his victory over the world champion. And it's a really satisfying moment in the movie, but at what cost? He's lost everything for the American dream. After that, he comes home. The mother of his child made it. His baby made it. He sees his baby, starts crying, which is probably the only time we see a real, genuine, hard cry from Marty. That's where the movie ends off. Timothy's acting is really good. Just this scene alone, the whole movie, he's really captivating and engaging, and he's very convincing as this character, but that last scene, there's so much complexity in his face that I think if you're looking for it, you can see it. That there's potentially a change of heart in him, but we're not sure. It's left a little ambiguous whether or not he actually changes for the better at the end of the movie. We don't know whether everything that he did was worth it to him or not. We can kind of evaluate the American dream or American capitalist success. We can kind of evaluate it through the lens of this movie in a way, right? It's up to the audience to decide whether or not Marty's pursuits were worth it or not. I imagine that 90% of the audience, I would hope, understands that his pursuits were ultimately not worth what he ended up sacrificing. You could argue that Marty realizes that even himself, that he starts to come to this understanding that this probably wasn't worth it, that everything he gave up for his version of success wasn't worth it. And it's something that they explore a lot in the movie through conversations he has with Gwyneth Paltrow's character, Kevin O'Leary's character, and then kind of those characters being juxtaposed against the people that he knows at home. Wally is a family man. He's trying to invest in his family and take care of his family. And Marty keeps kind of pulling him back into this old lifestyle. Ultimately, Wally doesn't want that anymore. Wally wants to be a family man. That is success too. I would argue that that's a much better version of success than what we see Gwyneth Paltrow and Kevin O'Leary's character do. They have a lot of monetary success. They're rich and famous, but are they happy? Both characters don't seem pretty happy to me, especially by the end of the movie. Wally seems happier than they are. Marty's family seems happier than these wealthy, famous, successful people. And by the end of the movie, there's kind of this feeling of if only Marty had just kept his job and became a family man, he wouldn't have had to go through all this trauma. Him and his family wouldn't have had to go through all this trauma. How many of us Americans are putting ourselves in harm's way or, in danger or sacrificing loving relationships with those around us for a chance at success, monetary, being famous, that sort of thing? How many of us are sacrificing those things for this American dream or what success is sold to us as? And I think that's kind of the question that the movie leaves you with. Why do people hate this movie? Marty is very, very annoying. He's very unlikable. He talks too much. He's snarky. He's rude. He's a narcissist. He constantly sacrifices the people around him and hurts the people around him for his own pleasures and his own gain. I think that this is really important for the movie. I think that maybe the little mini hope of growth that we see at the end of the movie wouldn't work if Marty wasn't so horrible and he wasn't so unlikable. We can't compromise on bad people. I think people that are bad should be bad and make bad decisions and should be unlikable. Marty is supposed to be unlikable. You are not supposed to like every character in every movie. I think the reason this movie is so engaging is because it doesn't spoon feed things to you. You have to critically look at Marty. You have to critically look at the movie. You have to sit with uncomfortable feelings and you have to think about what makes Marty so unlikable. It's a different lens of chasing a dream, right? We're sold all these movies where it's inspiring and, oh my gosh, we're chasing our dreams and yay, we did it at the end of the movie, but this story is much more complicated than that. Similarly, life is more complicated than that. People are complex and do bad things. You're kind of rooting for him because he's the main character and also because you just want it to be over. You want him to finally get what he wants, so he'll just stop being so annoying. And that's part of the movie. Part of the movie is that he's just so unrelenting in chasing his dream that it's annoying. You're rooting for him, but at the same time, you're really not because he's been awful. He doesn't deserve a happy ending. The movie's painful to watch. Yes. Yeah, it's kind of the point. There's a lot of yelling. People are obnoxious. The other characters are also a little unlikable in their own ways. I think, again, that makes the movie more rich and interesting. The characters all have their own unique motivations and driving factors, so sometimes those are conflicting with each other. Obviously, Marty's the protagonist, so his wants override everyone else's, which is part of what's so frustrating because his wants are very selfish, but it makes the movie much more interesting. The protagonist wants something, but it's often at odds with everyone else. Actually, it's always at odds with everyone else. He never really wants to do what everyone else wants him to do. Maybe that's a critique of also the independent spirit that we have as Americans. A lot of other societies and countries prioritize the collective good over the individual, and America is all about individualism. This movie is very much about individualism. Everyone's pretty selfish and self-centered, and everyone prioritizes their own desires, especially Marty. You're not supposed to like people that do that. I think often American media sells the idea that individualism is a positive thing, but this movie makes you question whether or not it is, whether or not we should be selfish, self-centered, and chasing our dreams no matter what. I also understand that that can be a lot for people, and a lot of people didn't know what they were getting into. I saw Uncut Gems, so I was very much prepared for a movie where the characters were all very unlikable. I get that a lot of people weren't prepared for that. If you know what you're getting into and you know that this is going to be one of those movies, I think it's more enjoyable than if you go in thinking that it's going to be like every other movie that's out right now. So, should you watch this movie? I believe yes. Just because something isn't easy to digest doesn't mean it's not worth your time. I think the movie's visually stunning. I think the writing's interesting. I think the plot, even though a lot of people could argue it's pretty convoluted, I think the chain of events is interesting. The plot structure isn't super easy to process. guess, but it's engaging and it's interesting and it's different. I think if you don't like it, that's totally valid. Instead of just determining you don't like it because you saw someone else say they didn't like it, maybe that's fair for something like Stranger Things. You're not into sci-fi. You saw someone say it was a little silly or there was too many plot holes, whatever. You decide it's not for you. Okay, fine. Maybe it's not for you. But I think Marty Supreme isn't like most things out there. If you've seen Uncut Gems and you didn't like Uncut Gems, maybe go ahead and skip this movie, okay? Because you already know you don't like it. If you want something different, engaging, something a little polarizing, something interesting, I recommend watching this movie. I don't think you should just watch a critique of this movie and then decide, yeah, it sounds bad, and then not watch it. Because the reason that that person didn't like it is probably valid. But again, this movie is supposed to be divisive. It's supposed to be unlikable, and it's supposed to be kind of annoying. So I recommend it. Media literacy is dead, okay? I'm sorry. It's time to revive it. We need to start reading stuff that we don't like. We need to start analyzing things that we don't like. We need to start thinking about things critically. If you don't like something, you should have a really good reason why. I understand that this movie is 2.5 hours of someone being a jackass, okay? But it's with a very explicit purpose. And if you don't like that still, that's fine. If you don't like to be tortured for 2.5 hours, I get it. Maybe that's not for everybody, okay? But if you're even a little bit interested and you want to see what it's all about, I recommend it. Let's watch things that are challenging or different or maybe hard to watch or a little unpleasant. We shouldn't always watch the thing that's easy to watch. We shouldn't always watch the Oscar-winning inspirational movie about the American dream, okay? Maybe we watch a movie that's critical of the American dream. I don't know. Think. Literacy's down in this country, and it's not just literacy in books. It's all the literacy, okay? You can watch Marty Supreme and feel however you want to feel about it, but just give it a chance. I liked it. Obviously, I enjoyed it. Watch it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you've seen it already, I want to know. Let me know what you think. If you hated it and you disagree with me, please let me know why. I want to hear it. I want to see in the comments. I want to see you say, this movie sucks actually, and you're dumb. No, don't say I'm dumb. That's mean. But you can tell me why you think the movie sucked. I want to know. That's what makes art so fun. Arguing about it. That's the best part. That's the best part about art. Arguing about it. I'm going to bring back recommended YouTuber. Recommended YouTuber is Alurinati, otherwise known as Olay. That's just who I have in mind right now, whose content I've been watching. I'll leave links down below. Love her channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me rant. New year, new me, baby. Thanks for watching. Love y'all. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, everything, all the things. Help me, please. Help me. I work hard on these videos. Please help. Please. Please. Okay. Love you. See you next time. Hopefully. Bye.